Hi everyone, it's Nick with Build Up Advisory Group and it's Fast Forward Fridays, a web series where we will quickly build what you know about infrastructure design in the nonprofit sector. Today's Fast Forward topic is the infrastructure trends to watch in 2021. It's part 2 to last week's Fast Forward Friday episode, number 38. In that Fast Forward Friday, we highlighted the first of 2 infrastructure trends in 2021 we thought you should be paying attention to. The first trend to watch was due diligence for funding awards, particularly the underlying diligence being requested and required by funders, the shifts that are happening, and what the common underlying theme will be within diligence, regardless of the kind of funding that's awarded. Today, we're talking about the second infrastructure trend, and I wonder if you can guess what it is. I thought about it and landed on this trend as the one to share because I really think it's a hot topic within infrastructure based on my conversations with leaders and executive teams. The second trend that I think we should watch this year is governance. And I want to be really specific here because there's a lot to governance. I think there's going to be a concerted effort to ensure that organizations have very strong governance in place, both in terms of the people who are sitting on boards and the structure itself. So you're going to see an increase in things like paying very close attention to who the board chair is and making sure that the role has the right kind of person in it for the organization in terms of prior board experience, leadership experience, and community representation. We're also going to hear much more about diversity within governance because people are realizing finally that it's not just about the executives within the organization or the fact that there are a number of people within the organization from vulnerable and marginalized communities. Instead, there's an awakening to the fact that diverse leadership really does start with the oversight of the organization and who is playing and allowed to play that critical role. We're also going to see thoughtful consideration of committee structures. So, grappling with questions like who's sitting on what committee and should we even have a committee structure given the work, size of the board, and priorities of the organization. And I think that the committee charter, that piece of paper that's usually created at the very beginning of the organization's journey and then never looked at again, will be dusted off and many more people will be paying attention to it. Recently, I've seen so many organizations picking up their bylaws after many years of not paying attention to them, reviewing them, and making very thoughtful changes. We're in a moment where we truly understand the essential role that a board and an organization's governance structure play in an organization's delivery of programs and services to the communities it serves. I think this approach is very different from how I've seen governance approached generally. And I do think there will be a large group of organizations within the sector that start to pull the covers back on their governance structure, questioning it in a critical way and paying attention to the pipeline in place to recruit members to ensure that their boards and structure are both strong. I also think that you're going to see executive directors and CEOs of organizations relying on their boards much more and pushing them, the executive directors and the CEOs, to hold them accountable for the organization's progress. So I think the term engaged board will actually be something tangible in 2021. Ultimately, this governance trend will show people paying closer attention to the build of the thing instead of just paying attention to board dynamics. These 2 trends, due diligence for funding awards and governance, are the trends within the sector that I think if we don't watch closely, we can miss a lot of the learning that will happen within each of them. So let's make sure that we're tracking these trends throughout the year and seeing what happens with each to ensure that we have the right infrastructure in place to do our very best work. And that's our fast build. I want to hear how you are thinking about 2021 infrastructure trends. What are you predicting? I would love to hear from you and about your experience in the comments below. And if you're finding these Fast Forward Fridays helpful or informative, I would love it if you would like this video and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend and keep building bravely.